I'm going to teach you some British slang from my homeland, which is Britain, England. These are some words and phrases that are very commonly spoken in the UK. And if you've visited before, you may have heard some of these. Now, this isn't the kind of English that you learn in school. This is real, everyday language that real English people are using. The kind of words you hear in the pub, in the street, or just hanging out with some friends. And don't worry if your English is not super strong yet. I'll keep it super simple so you can easily follow all of the words today. I'll explain what each word means, when people use it, and I'll give you some examples so you know how it sounds in a conversation. And maybe you can even try some of these yourself. Think of it like we're just sitting down having a chat and I'm letting you in on some little British language secrets. Okie dokie, so let's get bloody started, shall we? Okay, first of all, chuffed. In England or Britain, when a British person says, "I'm chuffed," that basically means they are super happy and pleased about something. It can also be that they feel really proud about something as well. So let's take a look at some examples. Your friend might say, "I passed my driving test today. I'm so chuffed." So here they're really happy about passing their driving test. Someone might say, "My mum was really chuffed with the present that I gave her." That means their mum was super happy about the present. A mate might tell you, "I'm chuffed to bits that you came to visit me." So here we've added to bits. It's kind of like a lot. I'm really happy that you came over to visit me. So if something really great happens to you and you want to sound like a true, authentic Brit, you can say, "I'm chuffed." Okay, next up, taking the piss. So this one is super common in the UK and you might be a bit confused if you hear it. So it kind of sounds like going to the toilet, right? But believe it or not, this is not about using the toilet or anything like that. So basically, when someone says taking the piss, it means that they are making fun of someone or they're making a joke out of it. So sometimes it can be kind of light and funny, but other times it can be a little bit harsher. It depends on the context and how it's said. Also, I must tell you that this is a very casual thing to say, and you shouldn't use this really when you're talking to your boss or in any formal situation. Just avoid this one. But we can definitely use this very casually with friends, and you might hear your British English friends saying this in a very funny and casual way in conversations. So here's an example. If you show up late and your friend says, "Wow, you're so early," in a sarcastic and silly voice, you could reply something like, "Oi, are you taking the piss?" So here you're asking if they are joking or teasing with you, which they obviously are. Or maybe your friend borrows your phone and changes your wallpaper to something really stupid. You could say, "Hey, are you taking the piss?" Here, this is basically saying, "Stop messing with me, stop playing around." Let's say someone's commenting about the price of something in a shop. They might say, "This bottle of water is £10. That's really taking the piss." Here, this means that the price is unfair and ridiculous. Like, are they joking that it's £10? So remember, taking the piss is teasing, joking, or emphasizing that something is ridiculous or unfair. And just be careful when you use it. Remember, it's very casual and maybe best to use just with friends. Next up, I'm knackered. If someone in the UK says, "I'm knackered," that means that they are very tired. Like, not just a little bit sleepy, but really exhausted. People might use this after a really long day at work or a really long gym session and any situation where they are just completely exhausted. So again, this is very casual English. It's not something formal. So you might just say this with maybe some friends or family, but probably not in a school essay or a job interview. All right, so here are some examples. After playing football with some of my mates, I was absolutely knackered. Basically, that just means you are very, very tired from playing football. I didn't stop all day. I'm knackered. So this is something you could say after you've worked a really long shift at work. That was amazing, but I'm knackered now. You might say something like this if you've been sightseeing in London all day and it was great, but you're really tired. Whenever you feel really tired, if you want to sound more British, you can say knackered instead. All right, next, let's talk about the word gutted. This has nothing literally to do with your gut, but you know that horrible sinking feeling that you have in your stomach or your gut? That's kind of what we mean here. So when we say I'm gutted, it basically means that you are really disappointed about something. So it's a lot stronger than just saying I'm sad. That means you really feel disappointed. So imagine your favorite football team just lost the World Cup game. You could say, I am gutted. So it doesn't necessarily mean that your stomach physically hurts, but it's about emotions. So, for example, your mate might say, I was gutted when I didn't get the job. They felt disappointed. A fan could say, we lost in the final. I was absolutely gutted. Here, they're very disappointed about losing. Or, for example, you plan a picnic, you tell your friend, but then it starts raining. Your friend might say, oh no, I'm gutted. I really wanted to go. Again here, expressing the disappointment. So next time, if something doesn't go the way you'd hoped and you feel really disappointed, you can say, I'm gutted. Okay, here is a funny and confusing one. Bob's your uncle. Now, this isn't literally talking about any uncles. If your uncle's name is Bob, then this is not relevant. So in British slang, Bob's your uncle means it's that simple, or there you go. People usually say that at the end of giving instructions, like done or it's easy as that. It's playful and, to be honest, kind of old-fashioned, but people still use it sometimes. So, for example, maybe someone's explaining how to make a cup of tea. They might say, okay, put the tea bag in, add your milk, then 2 spoonfuls of sugar, and Bob's your uncle. Basically saying, and that's it. A friend tells you how to fix your phone. Turn it off, turn it back on again, and Bob's your uncle. That means that's how you do it, or that's how it can be done. Maybe explaining directions. Go to the office, turn right, turn left, and Bob's your uncle. That means you made it, you'll get there. Bob's your uncle is kind of like saying easy peasy. It's very friendly and you can use it to make people smile. Okay, doing great so far, guys. Next one is over the moon. When someone says, I'm over the moon, that means that they are extremely happy. It's stronger than just saying, I'm happy. Imagine you are so happy that you fly out of your body and you go all the way into space and over the moon. Kind of something like that. So it's a little bit more cheerful and polite than saying I'm chuffed. You'll hear it in everyday chat, on the TV, or sports and interviews. For example, a football player might say on the TV, oh, we won the match today, I'm over the moon. That means he's super, super happy that they won. Your friend could say, I was over the moon when I passed my exam. So that means they're so happy that they passed. A parent might say, we were over the moon when our baby was born. That means they were filled with joy. So remember, over the moon, nothing about the moon or space, just about feeling very, very, very happy about something. Okay, next one, to leg it. When someone says to leg it, that means to run really, really quickly. It's casual slang, often when people need to run and escape from something really fast. Sometimes because they're late, sometimes because they're in trouble, or sometimes just for fun, I think. Picture this, your teacher finds you somewhere in the school where you shouldn't be, and you have to leg it. That means run as fast as you can away from the situation. So you might hear someone say, for example, the police came and everyone legged it. That means everyone had to run away really fast from the police. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know at all. Or if you're late for the bus and you didn't catch it, you might say, I had to leg it and I still didn't catch the bus. Or kids playing football in the park could say, quick, mum's coming, leg it. To leg it means to run really, really fast away from something or someone. All right, next up is mug. Now this one's interesting because in British slang, mug doesn't just mean the cup that you drink from, like this. This is my mug. Actually, it means something not as nice. If someone calls you a mug, that means that you've been tricked or you're maybe acting foolish, according to someone else. It's kind of like saying someone is easy to cheat or be taken advantage of. So be careful with this one. If you call someone a mug, it's definitely going to be taken the wrong way. And you will hear people say it when they've been ripped off or they've been cheated. Let me show you some examples. Your mate might say, I paid 20 quid for this, but really it was only worth 10. I feel like such a mug. So here, your friend is saying that they feel kind of silly and stupid because they've been cheated. Or someone could say, he lied to me and I believed him. What a mug. Here, they're admitting that they've been cheated. They've been cheated, they've been lied to. Or friends might warn you, don't be a mug, shop around and find out a bit more. Here, they're basically saying, don't get ripped off. So mug can also be used as just a direct insult to call someone stupid as well. So be aware that if you hear that in a not so friendly way, it might be that someone's calling you stupid. Also, try using this if you're talking about something overpriced. Your British friends are going to hear that and laugh because you'll sound like a true Brit. Okay, next up, to nick. In British slang, to nick actually means to steal something. So this is a casual way to say that someone took something that's not theirs. Also, fun fact, the nick is also slang for prison or jail. So if you nick something, then you might end up in the nick. For example, a friend might say, someone's nicked my bike, meaning someone stole their bike. A kid at school might say, he nicked my crisps when I wasn't looking. That means he stole some crisps from the packet. Or talking about somebody shoplifting. The police caught him trying to nick some sweets. Okay, just remember, to nick means to steal. So use this and again, it's going to sound very authentic and British if you're talking about stealing. Okay, next up, bugger all. Bugger all is a very British way to say nothing at all, basically. So if someone says they've got bugger all, that means they've got absolutely nothing. Or if they say they did bugger all, it means they didn't do anything. It's a little bit of a cheeky one and it sounds very rude, but actually it's funny and light and playful. It's also quite informal, so again, you probably shouldn't use this in a formal situation. For example, after a lazy weekend, you might say to your friend, I did bugger all this weekend. That means you did absolutely nothing. Your mate might check your fridge and be like, hey, you've got bugger all in this fridge. That means, guess what? There's nothing in the fridge. Maybe it's time to go shopping. I don't know. Or maybe someone's talking about work and money and they say, I did a 14-hour shift this week, but I still have bugger all. That means they feel like they've got nothing in return for what they did. So bugger all, nothing at all. So remember, it's slang, it's a bit cheeky, and you might want to avoid this while talking to your wife's grandma. Okay guys, last but not least, ta-da! This one is a friendly way to say goodbye. It's especially popular in the northern areas of England, like Liverpool or Manchester. This is really not formal at all. It's commonly used when you're saying goodbye to friends or family or loved ones. So if you're in Liverpool or the Midlands or the north of England, you're probably going to hear this all the time. So for example, a friend leaving your house for a dinner party might be like, "Night guys, ta-da!" So they're basically saying, "Bye everyone." Or a shopkeeper could say, "Okay love, have a good day, ta-ra." She's just politely saying goodbye. Or maybe you're just saying goodbye to a friend after hanging out with them for a while. You might just say, "Ta-ra, see you soon." So ta-ra is basically a warm and friendly, casual, informal goodbye. And if you use this, especially in the right region of the UK, you're going to sound just like a local and everyone will be chuffed that you used it. All right, my loves, now hopefully you've got some new British slang words under your belt. And remember, you don't need to use them all at once, step by step. Start trying some today, maybe on your British friends, or listen when people are using them and how they use them, in what context, then just give it a go when you're ready. Slang is all about sounding natural and easygoing, so don't worry if you get it wrong, you can just laugh it off with your friends. And people are going to be extra chuffed that you're even trying. So guys, thanks for listening today, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Hopefully see you very soon. Let me know in the comments if there are any other British slang words that you've heard. Maybe I can explain them for you. Okay guys, ta-ra for now.